name's Emma from Balanceworks Yoga. Welcome to week 4 of my Yoga for All course. Thank you for being here and joining me today. We're going to begin seated, so make sure you're in a comfortable position. I've got some blankets which might come in useful later for the practice. So if you've got a couple of nice chunky blankets, grab those as well. Block might also be useful if you have one, but don't worry if not. We will have all sorts of variations and adaptations and things to move through the practice. So we're going to start in a seated position, maybe sitting on top of the blankets, a good way to elevate the hips, just get a good, better posture, and just take a moment to check in with ourselves. You're taking this time for you. So start to relax, start to tune into your body, maybe notice any aches or pains or any areas that you need to be aware of through the practice. Maybe also being aware of areas of our body that are feeling good. It's always nice to acknowledge that as well. And connecting with the breath, and using that breath today to really deepen our practice, to connect with our bodies, to maybe go a little bit deeper into movements and to get a good alignment, a good posture. So we're going to inhale, sit nice and tall, and exhale, just relax the shoulders. Hands, arms can be wherever's comfortable. Take a deep breath in through the nose and let's sigh it out through the mouth. Allowing those shoulders to melt down. And again, inhale through the nose, sit nice and tall. Tuck the chin slightly. Exhale through the mouth. And just come back to your normal breath. Again, just following it. Maybe extending the exhale a bit more. Using a nice long exhale to anchor down, to connect with the earth beneath us. Just really turn our attention inwards. Maybe check in how you're feeling emotionally, wherever you are today, whatever you're bringing to this practice, it's all good. You're here. That's the most important thing. So today, the theme is the theme is root to rise, and it's an expression we sometimes hear. A lot of yoga teachers use it. There's lots of kind of opposites and things that balance out in yoga, and root to rise is one of them, a bit like the yin and the yang and the sthira and the sukha, the right amount of sort of strength and stability in something, but also having that ease and that freedom to balance out a movement, or just as we're sitting here today, or just an activity that we do in our lives. So when we think about root to rise, we're being aware of what is touching the earth, what is rooting us down. So in this case, just sitting down, I know my bottom, the tops of my legs, my feet, just really think about connecting and anchoring down, maybe just sort of spreading things out a little bit and just nestling down to feel strong and stable. Sometimes it's our feet as we stand up, just again paying attention to all 4 corners of our feet so we're nice and spread out and stable rather than a little bit wobbly. Sometimes it's our hands, and in the case of today's practice, we are going to have a little go at shoulder stand. So it's going to be our shoulders, so we need to pay lots of attention to our shoulders in a warm-up to moving into that pose. But there's all sorts of modifications and options as well. So accessible to everyone, hopefully. If you are pregnant though, then I would ward against any sort of inversions and bringing your hips higher than your heart, which is what happens in this pose. But you can just find a shavasana, a nice relaxing pose instead. If you've got any big neck or shoulder problems and you've been advised against sort of doing things like this from a doctor, then just take it really easy and maybe, don't bring the full weight onto your shoulders. You'll stay on your back today. Anyway, so root to rise, thinking about finding a place of stability, taking our inspiration from nature and the way things grow. If they root down, firmly grounded and secure, then they can grow better, be stronger. And if we have a stable anchor to the ground, then the rest of our body can feel free and relaxed, which is the aim of yoga. So we want to be super mindful of the neck today, so we're going to just start a little warm up in our necks. We're going to exhale and bow our heads. Feel a nice stretch down the back of our heads, back of our necks. We're going to inhale and lift the chin up. Wherever it wants to go is fine. And exhale, bow. So just start this gentle movement. Maybe closing your eyes and just checking in with how your neck is feeling. Same time, trying to sit up nice and tall. Try not to crunch the neck backwards. And back to center. We're going to look over our left shoulder and then our right. Doesn't matter which way you go first. Sometimes get my mirroring right, and other times I mess up. Depends what my brain is doing. Little stretch, just feeling this gentle warm up, tuning in, and then ear to shoulder. Again, just a gentle one. Just noticing how it feels. Nice and mindful. Okay, just going to start a few shoulder rolls. Maybe massaging the knees at the same time. Again, just mindful movements, moving with love for our bodies and respect for our bodies rather than just going through the motions. Nice big shoulder rolls. And then we're going to inhale and bring our arms all the way up above our heads. Take a big inhale here and exhale. We're just going to rain them down. Bring our hands down. We're going to do that again. Inhale up. And then exhale. We'll sort of cactus our arms this time, squeezing the shoulders, really beginning to sort of warm up those shoulders. And then see if we can take the backs of our heads, interlacing our hands, our fingers behind. Maybe they come to the top of our heads if that's better. If you feel like you're having to bend down, crunch down in order to get behind your head, then just pop them on top. Just opening up the chest. Taking a big inhale here. And exhale, just being aware of the shoulders, trying to draw them in, squeezing them back, opening the elbows. See if we can take a couple more breaths here, just opening the chest, long neck. Just staying with it for another couple of moments. Maybe you want to, on the back of your head, just extend your thumbs so they're supporting your neck. Big breath in, filling the lungs with air. And using the weight of your legs to sort of ground you down, root to rise. And then on the next exhale, we're going to draw the elbows together round the back, squeeze the air out, allow the head to come down gently, and inhale, open the chest and the elbows, and exhale round. A bit of seated cat-cow, really being aware of those shoulders opening and closing, warming them up, and the neck at the same time. Lovely, one more. Inhale up. Okay, rain the fingers down. Just going to roll the shoulders here. Open the arms up. Bring the left arm over the right. Give ourselves a hug here. Again, take a nice breath and exhale. Just relax into it, opening the shoulders out, the upper back. Open up. And the right arm over left, or whichever one you didn't do before. Crawl the fingertips a little bit here. If you need to bow the head a little bit and just add a little bit of sway or rocking, just find what feels good in the neck. and the shoulders. And release. Okay, just extend the legs out now. Give them a nice, shuffle that up. Give them a nice stretch out. Maybe point the toes. Wake things up a little. Spread the toes out. Bring our hands behind us. Bend at the knees. And we're just going to windscreen wiper a little bit from one side to the other. Just opening up the hips. Leave them on the right side or whichever side, and then bring the left arm open, up and over, and just see where it wants to come to. Opening up the chest. Doesn't have to be here, it could be here, just whatever feels good. And exhale, spiral it back to center. Going to take the knees over to the left this side and bring the right arm, just spiral it out and lift it up and open up wherever you want to come to. Take a little smile here as you open up, creating space, and then spiral it back down. Okay, lovely. I'm just going to shuffle those blankets out of the way. We're going to come into a tabletop position for a moment and just take a moment maybe to spread the fingertips and turn them towards the outside of the mat, and just have a little rock here, warming up the wrists a little bit. Not going to be on the wrists too much today though. Relax the head, press down with the tops of the feet. Again, just finding this root to rise. Rooting down with the hands, spreading the fingertips, tops of the feet and knees. You can always have a blanket under your knees, remember. And then turn them back to face the front. We're just going to try and isolate the scapula, the shoulder blade, for a moment, and think about opening up the scapula, which involves rounding the back a little bit, but not a full cat-cow, not full cat position. Just rounding it so you can feel your shoulder blades open, and then see if you can squeeze the shoulder blades together, which normally means the chest lowers a little bit here as well. So the arms are staying nice and long here, pushing the ground away. And I just want you to isolate the scapula, open the shoulders, and then let them close. So this up and down movement, it's a little bit of a funny one because some people want to go straight into cat-cow, but trying to isolate it without adding the pelvis or the neck or even too much of the back or the belly. So just trying to open the shoulder blades, creating space, like it's just sort of come down a little bit. And then as you lower the chest, hopefully feel the shoulder blades just begin to lean into each other. So we're just learning how to open and close the scapula. So that's going to be really important with our shoulder blades. So you can't really see because I'm of the top that I'm wearing, but if we were doing this, you'd see the shoulder blades literally move. There's a lot of movement there when you sort of get warmed up and practice it more. Okay, moving on. We are going to do some sun salutations. Let's go into down dog. Tuck the toes, spread the fingertips. If down dog doesn't suit you, you can just stay in a tabletop. But if you prefer, lift the knees up, keep them nice and bent, send the hips backwards. And when you're there, take a nice breath, and as you exhale, just maybe keeping the knees bent, just lowering the belly through the thighs a bit more, pressing the ground away, making the adjustments you need, and maybe pedal the legs, pedal the feet. Extend one leg at a time and get a nice stretch here, keeping the neck relaxed, long. Okay, and then look forward to our hands. We're going to tiptoe up to our hands. We'll find a fold. Bend the knees generously here, just to bring our belly down to our thighs. It's much better to be in this position than it is to be legs straight and then over here, because that's doing different things to our body. We're trying to relax the shoulders and let any tension spill off our arms onto the floor and slide away. So bend the knees, spread the toes out, really nestle down with the feet. Maybe think about extending the legs. We're going to slide the hands up and come up to a half lift. Number 7 shape. Squeeze the shoulders a little bit here. And then exhale, bend the knees and fold. Relax the arms, tuck the chin, and inhale slowly, rise up, tucking the pelvis as well a little bit. To mountain, inhale, arms up. Exhale, maybe bring the hands to heart center and just take a moment, checking in with your mountain pose. Maybe your eyes are open, maybe they're closed, maybe you have a little sway here. We often like to add a bit of movement in class just to make sure we're nice and relaxed in this position, checking in, not holding tension in our necks. And also just taking a moment to check our alignment, spread the feet and the toes out, tucking the pelvis slightly, little bend in it, just soft knees, they're not locked out. Often when we lock them out, we tend to sort of stick our bums out as well. So it's about drawing things in a little bit, drawing the ribs in, tucking the chin slightly, little shoulder roll, relax the arms. Rising to the crown of our head. You often hear about the imaginary thread pulling you up. That's a great one through the crown of your head. So root to rise. Big strong feet. You can maybe have a think about coming up onto your toes here. And then maybe coming onto the heels. Just a little bit of a balance. Strengthening, warming up the muscles in our feet. Nestling down. Okay, we're going to do a couple of sun salutations because they're really, really good warm-ups and prep for going into shoulder stand. So coming to the tops of our mats, take a big inhale, reach up, lift up, exhale, hinging from the hip, fold, bring the arms wide and down. Inhale, slide the hands up, coming to a half lift, flat back. Maybe the hands are on the shins, the knees, maybe they're on the floor, maybe they're coming behind you like wings. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down. We're going to step or jump back to a plank or a half plank, you choose. Take your time, spread the hands, the fingertips, grip with the fingertips, really distributing the weight through your hands. Hollowing through the core, but keeping a nice plank shape. Take a deep breath here. Long neck, gaze between your hands. Whichever position you're in now, going to bring the knees down, bend at the elbows and come down to our bellies, and whichever little cobra you want to come into. Inhale, exhale, ripple down, tuck the toes, push back through, maybe a tabletop. Take your time getting into downward dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, make any adjustments you need. Send the hips backwards, really thinking about drawing them backwards and the weight through your heels. Bend the knees as much as you need. Big breath. One more. Look forward to your hands. You're going to step, jump or hop to the tops of our mat. Inhale, half lift. Number 7 shape. Squeeze the shoulders. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees all the way up to Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, prayer position. Take a moment, notice how you feel, spreading awareness through your body, warming up a little bit, feeling energized hopefully. And we'll go again. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Reaching up, exhale, hinge from the hip like a swan dive all the way down to a fold. Exhale, inhale, straighten the legs, slide up to a half lift, number 7 shape. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands down, step, jump back to plank or whichever position, half plank if that's better. Or if none of that's good, you can always take a child's pose here or whatever feels good. You listen to your body, and remember our bodies feel different from day to day. Spread the fingertips, take a couple of breaths here. And then bring the knees down, chest down, bend at the elbows. Inhale, find a little cobra here or whatever. Back bend feels good. Maybe it's a sphinx. Inhale and exhale. Slide the hands under your shoulders, tuck the toes, push your way back through tabletop into down dog. People like to get there a different way. Some people slide straight in. Some people like to take their time. You do you. One breath here. And look forward to your hands. You can step or jump forward to a forward fold. Bend the knees, exhale. Inhale, slide our hands up, coming to a half lift. Squeeze the shoulders, exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Up we go to Tadasana, hands together, prayer position. Okay, little warrior sequence here before we come down to the ground. We will be stepping back into a warrior 2 position, but if you want to have a go with a little balance first, coming through a warrior 3, that's an option for you. So ground down through the right foot, lift up the left knee, just see how you get on with this. Hug it in a moment. Standing nice and tall, root to rise, lifting up, and then exhale, release the knee and see if we can tilt the body, counterbalance here, and send the left foot backwards, maybe coming through a warrior 3. Might be wobbly, that's fine. Don't worry if you can't do it today. Some days I can, some days I can't. And then step back with that left foot coming into warrior 2. Bring the arms up if that feels good. Take a little bend in that front knee, back leg 90 degrees. Okay, lovely. Roll the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulders here. Flip the front palm, inhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, reach, relax the left arm. Exhale, spiral the arms down. We're going to lean in and find forearm to thigh and come into extended side angle. Again, trying to draw the left hand back, the shoulder back a bit. If not, you can always have your hand here. Lovely. Exhale, bring it back up. Going to relax the arms. Bend in that back knee a little bit, the left knee a little bit, and take ourselves back up to Tadasana. Shake things out. And the same on the other side. So, ground down through your left foot. Maybe lift up the right knee. Find a little balance challenge here. Maybe a little rotate of the ankle. Hug in, standing nice and tall, squeezing the shoulders. Really nestling through that left foot as we release and send the right foot backwards, the right knee leaning forward, seeing if we can find a warrior 3. Any variation's fine. You can always use the block here, by the way. If you've got a block to hand, you can always have a block to the ground to find a mini warrior 3. Pause for a moment if you can before stepping back with that right foot, finding warrior 2 on the other side. Windmill the arms open, squeeze the shoulders, roll them back. Little bend in that front knee. Inhale, flip the front palm, come up to reverse warrior. Inhale, strong roots, strong legs, nice and relaxed at the top. Rising up. Exhale, windmill the arms over, kind of lean into it and see if we can get our hand or our forearm to the knee. Send the right arm wherever it wants to go. It can be like a T shape or it can come a bit further over. But if you start to sort of bring your chest down to the ground, then just come up a little bit so your chest is facing out to the wall. Lovely. Windmill back in here, and then we're going to take a little bend in that back foot and then bring ourselves back up to Tadasana. Going to create a wide legged position here, so I'm going to face you, so not facing the direction. So wherever your wide legged stance feels okay for you and your knees and your ankles. Going to draw our heels in slightly, so we're going to be coming into a bit of a goddess pose. And just tuck the tailbone slightly here and just check with our alignment so we're not like sticking our bellies, our bums out or our chests out or anything. So just trying to get you nice and stacked here. And then maybe open up the arms. Just a little roll with the shoulders, bring our hands to our hips, tuck the tailbone and just bend at the knees and see if we can find our goddess, maybe a little bit of up and down. And whenever you're there, whatever height you're at, just see if you can hold it again. Just draw the belly in. Open up the arms, maybe a little bit of a cactus here. Nestling down with those feet, spreading the toes, really active feet, so we can be nice and relaxed at the top. But we're also going to maybe option here to add in a little open and close with the arms, to distract from the burn in the thighs, but also we're getting that squeeze in the shoulders, really opening and closing, so we're ready for shoulder stand. One more if you can. Big breath. And exhale, release the hands and straighten the legs. You might want to just give them a little bit of a shake for a moment, shake things out. And then make sure our feet are parallel with the edges of the mat. And we're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. So from here, again, hands to the hips and just send the the hips backwards, just like you would with a normal fold. You can even bend the knees a little bit here. You can use the block or anything that you can reach to. Even use, a table or anything, just to begin to lower yourself down so you're not rounding too much. Trying to use the breath here. So inhale, lengthen, exhale. See if we can fold a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen, long neck. Gaze down to the ground. Exhale, fold. Either fingertips to the ground or to a block. Again, see if you can do a couple more breaths. And then wherever you are, maybe hands come to the ground or fingertips to the ground, and you can relax the upper body here. You can pop a micro bend in the knees if you like. Breathe. Long exhales. Going to walk our hands to our left foot first of all. And you can, if you're on the block, you can slide the blocker across and just find a little twist here, maybe lifting up the left arm. And then walk our hands over to the right foot, taking the block if you need it. Maybe lifting up the right arm, finding a little twist. Lovely, come back to center. Going to take a deeper bend this time in the left knee. And just see if you can begin to lower yourself down into a Skandasana. So if not, you can stay on a block up here, that's absolutely fine. Just seeing how low you can come and then take it over to the right side. So finding our whatever version of Skandasana. If you're still higher up, that's fine. But if you're lower down, maybe your fingertips come to the floor and you can extend one leg and then the other. Maybe you find a little balance here. Go to the other side. But whenever you've had enough, then we're going to lower ourselves down to the ground. So if you are a bit higher up, you might want to come down to your knees first. If you're in Skandasana, then just lower down to your bottoms and just get comfortable, because I'm going to demonstrate the next little bit, the shoulder stand part of the practice. So make sure you're comfortable so you can watch this. I would recommend you watching it fully before you actually do it. That's what I've said in class as well, because there's so many things to be aware of. I really don't want anybody damaging their neck and taking it too quickly. I want us to all make sure we're just doing it stage at a time so we protect ourselves. So, yeah, we will be starting in a bridge pose all together. So I'll be taking you through a bridge pose. Let's see if I'll come down to the mats. No, I'll do the bridge pose with you in a moment. I'll demonstrate the shoulder stand options first. So I'm going to get my blankets. Now, you don't have to use blankets. When we were in class the other day, we didn't have big enough blankets, so we didn't use the blankets and we were just very mindful of our necks. But if you do have a couple of like chunky blankets, then that might be useful. But again, play around with it and see what feels right. What did I do last time? I think I did it like this. They need to be fairly big. You don't want little narrow blankets, because then it'll be harder to sort of draw shoulders underneath. So you can have them nice and wide like that, and then lie down so your shoulders are about an inch away from it. It helps just create space underneath your neck. And if you don't have the blankets, then it's absolutely fine. Just make sure you're sort of lifting your chin a little bit to make sure you've got space. You can put your hand underneath your neck. Also, a big thing about going into shoulder stand, similar to bridge really, I'm in a sort of prep bridge position now, is that we're going to really try to squeeze our shoulders underneath us. Because if we squeeze our shoulders underneath us, then we're taking the pressure off our cervical spine, that knobbly bit. If you feel the knobbly bit, the C7 at the top of your spine, we don't want to be landing lots of pressure onto there. So if we squeeze our shoulders, then the weight's going on our shoulders rather than our spine. So lots of squeezing of shoulders today. So blankets or no blankets, the first thing we will do is a bridge, but we'll do that all together in a moment. Once we've warmed up with a nice bridge, then it's a similar action with our hands alongside, but I like to tent my fingertips here. We're walking our heels nice and close to our glutes, but also making sure our hips and knees and feet are in line with each other, because we don't want them too wide here. So in line with each other. Tent your fingertips, and instead of lifting the hips up like in bridge, then it's a case of trying to pick the feet up and just bringing the knees in and seeing, it might be that that's as far as you can get to here, and that's fine. But if you can lift your pelvis off the ground and scoop up a little bit, then you can try and catch with your hands your lower back or bottom. And once you've caught it, that's where we can do this like squeezy, trying to shuffle our elbows and shoulders in a bit, and just find yourself in this kind of low position to begin with, wherever it is. It might be here, just trying to shuffle the shoulders underneath and just check in with how this feels. It might be that your legs are straight, maybe you're beginning to come into plow, but don't go too much to begin with. Try to keep things low, maybe knees coming down towards our shoulders. And just take some breaths here, just checking again that you're not landing on your neck. Squeeze the shoulders. Sometimes it doesn't look very elegant going up there. And then to lower ourselves down, just really try and still hold on to, support yourself with your hands. Going to slide our hands down, just taking the weight of our legs slowly down and coming back down, okay? So that's the first stage before launching straight away up into it. But next time we do it, then we can get ourselves into that position, but have a go at maybe straightening the legs. So again, just shuffling our shoulders underneath, coming onto our fingertips, lifting the knees up and the feet up, and just seeing if we can really engage our core. That's a big one. Really engage the core to draw our knees in a bit. See if we can catch the lower back, our bottoms, and just shuffle our way up a little bit further. See where your hands can come to. It's all about kind of shuffling them a little bit higher up our back and just seeing what feels okay. Really checking in with our necks again, checking sure we're not obscuring our breathing. It can sometimes feel tiny little bit more restricted than normal. But that's normal. But if you're really struggling to breathe, then do come out of it. If you're a bit congested or anything or have asthma, you can stay here. Again, you can maybe straighten the legs and see, what a plow feels like, or bringing one leg down at a time. Or just have a go at straightening one leg and seeing what it feels like, bringing them up to the ceiling. Again, shuffle with those hands, trying to get a little bit higher support and drawing the shoulders underneath, squeezing those shoulders. Squeeze. You might end up here. You might end up with the hips further backwards, because I don't think I've got a fully straight shoulder stand yet. But you might bring the hips backwards a little bit further and come into a half shoulder stand, which is also awesome. Okay, so whenever you've had enough, we will slide. Hopefully you're still watching. Slide down gently and just feel the effects and relax into it for a bit. Okay, before you get started, I just want to show you a couple of options if that really is not going to work on your shoulders. You could go into a supported bridge. So, like we have done in class before, you can lift the hips and pop a block underneath your pelvis, getting a little bit of elevation there, and just relax into that. Maybe picking up the knees, maybe not. Maybe straightening the legs. So you're still getting a similar, all the benefits of shoulder stand, but without it, the pressure on your upper back. So this is also great. You're getting all the benefits of being upside down and the blood flowing in the opposite direction, which is so beneficial. It's called the Queen of Yoga poses, shoulder stand. One more option, I know there's lots of talking, sorry about that, I just want to make sure everyone does it okay, is to go against the wall. So I've got a little bit of wall space here. It's a case of really shuffling your bottom as close as you can to the wall. Sorry, Harry. And he's used to me doing weird things now. Shuffling a bit closer, not quite close enough. And you can either stay here like this, or you can bend the knees and maybe push up into a bridge. It's a bit harder not on a mat. A bridge against the wall, maybe thinking about lifting one and the other. I am sliding, so I'm not on a mat, but you get the idea. You've got the support of a wall, which is an awesome place to start. Okay, everybody now down to the mats if you're not already. And you can either Use the blankets or not. But remember to squeeze the shoulders. So we're coming down to our bridge shape first. Making sure we've got that gap underneath our necks. Put your hand underneath, wiggle it through. Yep, check. And walk your heels closer to your glutes. Place your palms down. And take a big inhale. And an exhale. And on the next inhale, we're going to peel off our tailbone, or lift our hips very slowly, gently, lifting up gradually, wherever you want to come to. And just see if you can just shuffle those shoulders underneath, squeezing the knees together so they're not coming out like this. Sending the shins towards the bottom of the mat. Lift, lift, lift. Take a big inhale. Really feeling everything expand, pressing down with the hands. You can maybe even walk the hands underneath. Maybe some people interlace, keeping the hips lifted up. And then exhale, really slowly, slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, ripple down. Back to the mat, just relax. Big exhale. Okay, maybe a little rock. At any point you can pause this video and just sort of have a little hug of the knees or anything like that. Okay, next we will have a go at going up into shoulder stand. So again, just check. You've got the gap here. If not, maybe just a little bit further lift of the chin. And going to tent our fingertips, walk our feet in a little bit, and then engage the core, really activate the core here, and see if we can just bring those knees up. Take a big inhale, and as we exhale, lift them up and see if we can catch our lower back and shuffle our way into this position. Just maybe bring the hands a bit higher up our mat, shuffling the elbows in, shuffling the shoulders in, and just stay here. Try to relax the legs, the part that's elevated. Squeezing the shoulders, they're your active bit, they're your support, they're your root. Keeping them nice and open, squeezing together. Again, just finding what feels okay and coming out whenever you want to. One more breath if you can. And then very carefully sliding your hands down the outside of your thighs, catching your knees and lowering yourself down gently. And just stay with the feeling for a moment. Relax your upper body, relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Okay, let's go again. So, when you're ready, by the way. Might want to just a little windscreen wiper for the legs is always a good one at this point. Just it stretches out the back a bit. Okay, tent the fingertips, walk the feet in a little bit. Take a big inhale. Exhale, lift up the feet and just see if we can catch the lower back, finding ourselves squeezing our elbows in, bringing the hands a little bit higher up our backs, and seeing where we come to. Just maybe hanging out here for a bit, maybe letting the legs extend, maybe coming into a bit of a plow pose, similar muscles being used. We're not doing plow today, we're thinking about extending our legs up. Again, each time shuffling up, shuffling up, shuffling up to see if we can go as straight as we can, like candle pose is another word for this. Pointing the toes or flexing the feet or doing a little floint, they sometimes call it, which is a mixture of both. Taking a couple of moments, you can come out of this as you can stay as long as little time as you want. Squeeze the shoulders a bit further, one more. Getting all those benefits of this inversion, getting the blood flow going. It's great for circulation, great for digestion, great to relieve people who are on their feet a lot, runners, people who are wandering around all day. And then very slowly exhale and slowly slide your hands, your hips down, maybe lowering your legs down first before catching yourself as you slide back down and relax. Awesome. Whatever level you were at, even if you weren't fully up there, hopefully you'll feel the effect of that. But as I said, just even having your legs up a wall, you get the benefits of the inversion. Just rock the knees from side to side maybe, or just stay still, relaxing, breathing, and just noticing the sensation through your body, the enjoyment of the sort of intensity, and feeling that lovely kind of calm afterwards. You can extend the legs if that feels good. We will be coming into Shavasana shortly, but just before we do, a good counter for shoulder stand is fish pose. So you can either stay on your blankets or you can remove the blankets. And we're going to, well, first of all, keep the knees bent a bit like in bridge, but we're going to take our right hand and pop it underneath our right glute, sort of really lifting our body up to make sure we try and tuck it underneath. And then take your left hand, roll over so you can get that underneath your left glute. Try and take your arms underneath as well, as much as you can. This is why, big, good flexibility in the shoulders is really, really great here. Get a deeper stretch. And we're coming into fish pose. So hands underneath our bodies. And just see how that feels. We're already squeezing the shoulders and opening the chest here. Lifting the chin a little bit here. My bun is not really helping. Opening up. You can extend the legs if that feels good. Just check in with your back first. Big breath, trying to relax into this movement. Anchoring down with the shoulders, the hands. There is an option here if you wanted to lift the chest and come on top of your heads. Again, bun is not the best hairstyle for this, but that also can, mess with people a little bit going that intense, but everybody's different. It's just an option. One more deep breath, really expanding through our belly. And then as we exhale, we'll slowly release our hands before we get any pins and needles in there. And just find yourself in Shavasana. You can make any adjustments before you relax for the last few minutes of the session. You can have bent knees here, feet wide, knees touching. You can put on another layer or grab a blanket or put a blanket under your head. You might want to shuffle around a bit, but trying to keep this calm that you've cultivated after the energies of the practice. And just allow your body to melt into the mat. Feel the mat rising up to support you, rooting down. And just coming to your breath. Coming back to that longer exhale. On the next exhale, see if you can exhale for the count of 6. Or even 7. We are in such an inhale culture that using the exhale is just so calming. What our body needs, what our mind needs to just soothe and reset. You may stay here for as long as you like. It's the dog making strange noises. I think he's dreaming. You can use the visualization of the train we had last week, where you're watching your thoughts as they go by carriage, trying not to board the train, trying not to attach, just observe, watch the show and relax. Namaste, everyone.